Well, hello and welcome to Gary Goes, and as is tradition, no, my name's not Gary, and you catch me here in Dublin, just a little day trip. Hopefully you can hear me, there's a bit of construction going on behind me. There's a lovely little spot for an intro right on the River Liffey, and that is the Customs House behind. Absolutely glorious day. It's going to be sort of mid-20s, I think, so definitely going to crack out the cap in a minute. But yeah, just a little day trip to Dublin from Newcastle. It works out really well, the timings. I think the flight out from Newcastle is like 10 a.m. and the flight back to Newcastle is about 8:30. So by the time you get the coach into the city centre, I've got sort of 6.5 hours or so. Enough time to have a wander, get myself a drink, sadly not Guinness, I'm not a fan, I have to admit that. But yeah, a bit of food and a wander. Never been to Ireland before. It's lovely so far, very, very clean. Very, very green as well on the way in from the airport. So yeah, going to check it out and come along with me on the trip, and I'll share some of the sights with you. Enjoy. So first of all, just a little bit of advice about the best way to get from the airport into the city centre. So there's no train or tram or anything like that. So your best bet is these coaches. There's a few different operators. There's Air Coach there, and then Dublin Express, which is the one I got. I think it was €10 return. I booked online. But I think you can pay when you get there. But it was fine. Pretty basic, as you see, no USB charges, which would have been helpful, but it was only about 25-30 minutes into the city centre, I guess, depending on traffic. There's a few different stops you can get off at. I got off at the one by the Customs House, which is just kind of, I guess it's just really in the city centre, just as you're going into the city centre. So probably the best stop, I guess, for like Temple Bar and things. And then coming back, it's pretty much from the same place. Again, you can look at all that online, but yeah, there's a stop right outside the Customs House, which is probably the easiest to get to. And this is the south side of the River Liffey. So anyone that's not been to Dublin or is new to it, like I was really, a massive oversimplification, but kind of for a first-time visitor, the easiest way to think of the geography of Dublin is the south side is the fun side, I suppose, although Trinity College is on the south side of the river, but that's where Temple Bar is. That's where most of the the pubs, the restaurants, the fun stuff. And then the north side is a bit more the shopping areas, a bit more modern, shops, the shopping centres, offices, things like that. Some of the kind of more modern, bigger hotels. And then it's a bit more sort of, I guess, traditional Dublin on the south side. Like I said, massive oversimplification, but this is the simplest, quickest way of thinking of it. And that's Halfpenny Bridge there. That's as we come up to Halfpenny Bridge. So this is looking over from the north side, right over the bridge, which until, I think when it was built, there was a toll, Halfpenny toll, I think for 100 years, until that ended at sort of the middle of the 1900s. That's my very, very quick bit of research. And then this is crossing through Merchant's Arch into really the heart of Temple Bar, and have a little wander around there again a little bit later on. And this is Dublin Castle, which is not what I was expecting. Having known nothing about Dublin Castle, I kind of assumed a castle would be like, well, from my point of reference, Dover Castle, and it isn't. It's a bit more sort of, I guess what I think of as like a stately home. But anyway, really, really pretty. I didn't go in. Obviously, as I said, I was only there for 6 hours, so I didn't, go into any kind of buildings or any museums or anything like that. It was really just walking around, getting some food, getting some drink, and getting a flavour of Dublin. But yeah, I mean, looks fantastic. I'm sure it's worth a trip. But yeah, sadly, I can't offer you any advice about whether Dublin Castle is worth the entrance fee. And now, of course, the main reason I think that anybody goes to Dublin is Temple Bar. So I'm sure it's massively different in the evenings, at the weekends. I was here, this must have been about lunchtime, and I did come back a bit later on for something to eat. But you can still see, even midweek, lunchtime, it's still quite buzzing. Still looks like a fantastic place to spend a few hours. If you've got a fair bit of money, it's definitely not cheap to be drinking in Dublin, as I'm sure you know. But so that's the famous Temple Bar pub, which is gorgeous with all those flowers outside. I could have gone in there. I mean, Sometimes it's absolutely rammed. I'm sure it is again evenings and weekends, but it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I'd kind of already had an idea of where I was going to go for some drink and food. But yeah, had to walk past the Temple Bar and just check out this area, which is absolutely quintessential Dublin. It wouldn't be Gary Goes without some fast food. This is Supermax, an Irish fast food chain, and there's the Molly Malone statue, which looking at it, you can see what part visitors traditionally rub. It's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I think that was moved from where it was initially. But again, another one of those tick off the box Dublin highlights. And then for me, actually, this was probably the highlight, the most gorgeous part of Dublin that I saw anyway, which is Trinity College, one of the oldest universities in, well, I guess in the world. Absolutely gorgeous, this central square with this archway. And then, yeah, loads of places to kind of sit on the grass and some fantastic buildings. That's the Book of the Kells is in that building there, straight ahead. I've heard that is kind of a rip-off. Go in and you get like 20 seconds to look at it, and then you're in a kind of reading room and then in the gift shop, and it's not cheap. Wasn't really on my list of things to do, maybe another time, but just wanted to go around here and kind of just sample this this atmosphere around the college, which was amazing. And yeah, what a gorgeous day. Yeah, all the clouds are gone by this time. The hat was definitely out. I wasn't risking getting sunburnt in Dublin, but yeah, this place is fantastic, Trinity College. Also, apparently, from what I heard from one of the guides as I was walking by, that statue there is traditional. When everyone graduates, they have their picture, climb up, take the picture with him, put hats and traffic cones and things on his head and stuff. Anyway, so this is right the way down the River Liffey, right to where the docks are, as it enters the Irish Sea. It was a bit of a trek. I walked along the river probably for about 40 minutes, I guess. It was a really pleasant walk, but yeah, quite long. And this is right at the end here. There was a Brewdog bar, which is just there on the right, which was pretty quiet, but had like a rooftop bar and things, and pretty cool place to sit and chill out for an hour or so. But yeah, I really like this area. Again, probably not somewhere that many tourists go. It's the opposite way from the Temple Bar. As you can see, some offices and a bit more modern around here, but yeah, really cool place to hang out. And then this is looking back from where I was, back along towards the city centre. There's a couple of tall ships there. I think that one on the right is like a restaurant boat. But yeah, really pleasant walk. You see along the cobbles and things. And then yeah, back into the main city centre. So this is the north side around O'Connell Street, which is I guess the main thoroughfare where the pedestrian shopping district kind of passes through. The shopping bit was all right. Again, it's like pretty similar to anywhere really. Not too dissimilar to somewhere like Manchester or Birmingham or even Newcastle. Like mostly the same kind of shops. Generally you've got this pedestrianised high street and then a little shopping centre. So yeah, it's not somewhere you need to go when you're in Dublin, but there's a few little different souvenir shops and a couple of food shops where you can get your Tato crisps and stuff. And yeah, as the day was getting on, just had a nice little coffee down by the river, really serene, really pretty. Again, looking back over the Halfpenny Bridge from the other side. And this place was really cool. This was somewhere I definitely wanted to check out, the George's Street Arcade. So yeah, as you can see, fantastic old terracotta building. And then as you walk in, this fantastic ceiling, really, really interesting. And then loads of quirky little shops. So you've got some food places, some souvenir places, there's like a little coin shop. And as you can see there, like retro clothes and stuff. I don't want to keep saying quirky, but that's probably the best way to describe it. But yeah, the street food looked really good. I really like this area, kind of, I guess it was to the northeast of like Temple Bar, sort of right in the centre with all the pubs and stuff, but just slightly out. But yeah, it was really nice walking around there. And this place looked amazing. So I was going for tea at this point, so I didn't grab any food. If I came back, absolutely I'd spend a bit longer around here and do a bit more shopping and a bit more eating. Yeah, and how cool and how pretty does this street look here? The other side of the Georgia Street Arcade, you got your pub in there, some restaurants and things. Just really like the feel of this road, just around this general area. As I say, not quite as sort of hectic as right in the middle of Temple Bar, but there's still like loads of cool sit down outside like restaurants and bars. Just a really nice, yeah, chilled kind of atmosphere. Absolutely the place that I'd spend some more time if I came back. And then the Hairy Lemon, which was the place that was on my list. Absolutely, I've heard this was a great place to drink and eat, and I was not disappointed. There is a beef and Guinness pie. So I didn't drink Guinness, but I did eat it. That rye bread was also fantastic. Rockshore Irish Lager. I mean, yeah, it's very touristy, of course, but absolutely great place to eat. Heartily recommended. And yeah, here we go. So that was the end of my day. So coming back on the old Ryanair, back from Dublin. What a fantastic day. Can hardly recommend it. From an environmental point of view, it's probably a little bit dubious flying out and flying back the same day. But, you know, it's not like they wouldn't have run the plane if I wasn't on it. So I don't feel too bad. But yeah, absolutely amazing day. Well worth the £34 I think it cost from Newcastle, and just flying out over the edge of Dublin. So yeah, thanks all for checking out my video. Plenty more on my channel, plenty more to come. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye.